and my front row seat to this, growing up, in Austin since high school, every week, bang, bang, bang on the door, young environmentalist, gouging and shaming my mother into giving them money for SOS, Save Our Springs. Has nothing to do with Bull Creek and a spring-fed pool called Barton Springs. And the city of Austin stole more than 20,000 acres from citizens, paid them pennies on the dollar, and then all the local green leadership literally did deals to basically sell at reduced prices or give themselves the land. They own their own banks, and they're making hundreds of millions of dollars a year in the West Austin area where they stole all this land, and now it's hotels and million-dollar homes. And, I mean, they are conscious thieves, and they know it. I mean, this is just, look, there's nothing even green or liberal about them. It is a cloak for their authoritarian tyranny. This is a wrecking crew of hardcore criminals.
Well, it's not like we didn't know, Alex, is it? I mean, never trust a hippie. Look what they do.
Well,
I mean, not only do they smell, but they also steal your money. And it was ever thus. It's certainly been that case since at least Woodstock. So,
well, I want to expand on that, though. You got a lot of useful hippies that mean well, and they all got mad once the banks ripped them off and didn't turn it into a big park. They just hated the people that owned the property, but now they're even more mad, but they're not marched up to the front of the city council anymore and told they're angels. They've been, many of them, banned from even speaking in Austin at the council.
Worse, Alex. You could be living in California. I mean, that truly is a green Marxist paradise, isn't it? You've only got a tiny bit of your state being taken over by the libtards, but poor California has just been completely wiped out by it.
Yeah, the mayor of L.A. said a 28% increase in the first year on your power bill.
Yeah. I think you may have to encourage California to secede from the rest of America, and allow it to go bankrupt, and allow them to stew in their own juices and see the error of their waves, and then get a proper governor in, a sort of Reagan-style governor who brings them back from the brink.
But instead, James, California, as you know, well, the UN talks about this, tax havens, they want to make all the rest of the country like that. And they say, oh, this socialism will only work once no one can run. And that's what the New World Order is a globe run by these people where there's nowhere to run, because wherever the hardworking people go, that becomes a wonderful place. And wherever the parasites are, vampires can't feed on vampires.
Hello?
James, is your phone cut? I was saying.
Sorry, no, I thought you'd gone. I thought I'd lost you.
No. I was saying vampires can't feed on vampires.
No, I know. And who would have thought? 10 years ago that the only place in the world safe to flee to now is Canada. I mean, Canada is about the only country in the world which is not buying all this eco-fascist nonsense. And the reason is that they're sitting on loads of oil, and that they live in a country which is so cold that no way would any government get away with enforcing the kind of fuel bill hikes that we have to accept in the rest of the world, because people can afford to heat their homes. And I'm afraid to say that America, Europe, even Australia is going down this greeny sinkhole. I'm not sure how we escape from this.
Well, the good news is they've been exposed as frauds. Briefly, because you've been chronicling this, there's a new scandal every 2 or 3 days as big or bigger than the ClimateGate emails. And now I was reading last week where the UN's going to Hollywood saying, save us. No one believes us anymore. Obama can't get his bill.
Why? Yeah. No, I mean, but you know what really frightens me in all this, Alex? We've had the ClimateGate scandal, and it had a lot of publicity, and then we've had Amazon Gate and Glacier Gate and Pachowri Gate and Africa Gate and Holland Gate, all these revelations which show that the UN, the IPCC, has been lying to us constantly. These scientists have been exaggerating the extent of global warming. But what has actually happened to derail the HEW bandwagon? Nothing. We have still all the governments in the world conspiring to to commit us to ever greater regulation, ever greater carbon reductions, ever greater taxes. I'm hoping that one good thing will emerge out of Obamacare, and that is that I'm hoping that it will strengthen the will of real conservatives in America to make this Obama's last success, because the real battle is going to be fought over cap and trade. That's the battle you've got to fight and win.
Well, I agree with you. I mean, if people think government grabbing health care is bad and the IRS to enforce it, compared to the multi-thousand-page bill that's already passed the House, home inspections, if you don't fix your house in 1 week, no judge, no jury, the government can just take your home, going to jail for light bulbs, batteries, trash inspectors. They mean business here, and if health care won't shut the economy down, then certainly this green power grab will. And I'm sure you saw the Audi commercials about the green police. The mayor of San Francisco, where that was produced, said, this isn't a joke. This is what we want to do. We want to turn hordes of authoritarians loose.
If you, America, this is my message to you. If you lose the battle on cap and trade, if cap and trade passes, the world is doomed. That is it. You've got to make sure that Obama is a one-term president, number one. And number two, you've got to make sure that the guy who replaces him, or girl, or maybe, does not buy into this watermelon nonsense, because it is going to be a disaster.
Okay, but hold on. Gordon Brown, heading up the G20, says they're going to have a world constitution of banks. They're going to raise the money for climate taxes from the nations unilaterally outside of legislation, and that this is just the way it is. Obama agrees. What do we do when they just lawlessly do whatever they want?
Well, I think what we have, at the moment at least, is the power of free speech. And I know that a lot of the ideas that are discussed on your show and discussed on the internet are very different from the kind of nonsense that our governments are conspiring to tell us. That gives me hope. Every day I get more and more emails from people who understand the nature of the problem. We've just got to make our voices heard. You know, I think the Tea Party movement has been a very, very important part of that. You know, people are saying enough is enough. We don't like big government, whether it's being imposed on us in the name of conservatism or in the name of liberalism. You know, I sometimes think that the big parties are all conspiring together. They all believe in big government, and we don't. We're sick of it. We're sick of taxation. We're sick of
of course, they're government bureaucrats and politicians. They get more power out of a bigger government. Stay there.